Sampayetia. Obayan Sapuso, Bunubia, one can some. They mouth to some cacre was
Welcome. This is the Heritage On Air series on CITIFM and CITITV. My name is Apioko, and this week we're celebrating the Ga heritage as a part of the larger heritage of Ghana, of Ghanaians, and all that we stand for. Today, I'm having a conversation with a very interesting woman. She's very accomplished, she's very artistic, she's creative in every way imaginable, but most importantly for this conversation, she's a Ga of Lebanese descent. And a lot of you might not understand why a conversation like this is important. And people have argued that the Ga lineage is getting lost. People say that you walk into communities that are supposed to be Ga communities and people don't speak Ga. But there's a heritage that's bigger than what we imagine it to be. The Ga people in the past have said Ablekuma, abakuma. Strangers should come and live amongst us, and that's what we did historically. And so today, as I speak to this lady, you understand why the Ga heritage is stronger than ever in Ghana and possibly beyond. Hello, Yasmin. So this is Yasmin Helwani. For those of you who are familiar with the Helwani name and should tell you what the Helwanis have done in Ghana, it's not strange, but she herself, amazing artist. I'm so pleased to meet you.
Thank you.
So Yasmin, let's start from the very beginning. Okay. Apart from even just the Lebanese group, we had historically the Arab Maghreb, we had Syrians, all parts of people from all parts of the Arab world coming to Ghana, and many of them settled amongst the Ga people. I know that people like you and many others identify as Ga as well, even though people see the color of your skin, they'll say Blofunu. But let's talk about how your lineage arrived in the Gold Coast and subsequently Ghana.
Okay. My father was born here, but he left Ghana and then came back in his teenage years.
And that was common for a lot of Lebanese communities.
It was. I mean, some people would be born here because maybe their father or their, somebody was doing business here. Maybe they'll be living here temporarily. In my father's case, his father was doing business on the west coast of Africa, not only in Ghana. He was born in Ghana and then went back to Lebanon at a very young age. His father died very early, so he came back into the care of his uncles back here in Ghana. So my father was born around in the Gold Coast before it became Ghana. Okay. And he used to always, when people tried to call him Obroni and so on, he would tell you, look at my Gold Coast passport, and tell you about Nkrumah and all of that. So yes, he had people here before him and then came afterwards. And most of the time it was through business. For my family, it was always a matter of trade or, coming in. And in this case, they were producing thread. You know the thread? That makes the hair. Yes, that's thread.
For those who don't know what adunle, those who adonko, you know how we stretch our hair.
Yes, so they were producing that thread in Aguna Swedru. And that's where he started out before he became an entrepreneur and eventually a music producer.
Okay. I'm curious, and I don't know how much you know, but please tell me what you do know.
Okay.
Was this, so the culture that we have now of our women threading their hair with a thread, was this something that we inherited from the Lebanese community?
No, it wasn't. What the Lebanese people are good at doing is just identifying the need in the society and filling it straight away. They would see a business opportunity and jump right into it. And for them, it's massive business, big dreams. My dad had the biggest business ideas. So they would just come and say, I'm sure one of them just said, look, all the women are using the thread. At that time, that was the thing, right? If you watch movies, everything, they were all using it. So somebody said, hey, let's set up a factory probably and produce it. So it's as simple as that, just the business sense.
Okay. Yeah. So even though the production was happening in Aguna Swedru, I imagine they were, sending this thread all over the country and possibly beyond Ghana as well.
Yes, yes.
So let's talk about a little bit more about your father. He started working at the thread production factory very early because he had lost his own father, your grandfather. What happened after that?
Okay, so my dad was very ambitious, very business-minded, and this time in this factory didn't last very long because he had big dreams and decided that he wanted to go into business for himself. So right after gaining some experience and gaining ground, he quickly went into making ice cream, and then he started getting kebab sellers together. He formed like a kebab sellers association where he would, you know, put kebab sellers at various events. So he would sponsor the meat and everything. At the end of the day, he would drive around and collect all the money. You know, he was very innovative in things he was doing. But his ultimate goal was to become an executive music producer because he fell in love with the cultural landscape, fell in love with the culture of Ghana. So he was very much into the music, but not anything foreign sounding. He was into the ethnic, original, authentic sounding music. And so he quickly went into that area and he flourished really well in the 70s. He had a club called Napoleon Club.
The famous Napoleon Club.
Yes, the famous Napoleon Club. A lot of people will remember, the older folks.
The ones who were doing the bump. Our fathers and mothers who were doing the bump.
Yes.
So let's backtrack a little. Your father had massive dreams and obviously many of them manifested. But I don't think when he was young, as a boy coming to Ghana to work at the Aguna Surgery factory, that he thought he was going to marry a Ghana woman.
Yeah.
How did that love story, come into being?
Oh, well, they met in Kumasi. My mom is from Jamestown. Her family hails from this area, the Ghana area, Jamestown, Kinkanwe, Bese, Gamashi area. She's very mixed as well. She has a very mixed, even she has a bit of Ewe in her hair as well. She was going to school at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and she took a flight. She was at the airport, and that's where they met.
Do you know what year this was?
It was about 70, 78, 79, somewhere there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they met at the airport, and then the rest they say.
And the rest is history. She was a graphic design student, and my dad, at that time, he was very successful and very wealthy. So I guess he swept her off her feet, as you can see, and she just kind of took a new path with him and started helping him with the business, with the club and the studio and stuff.
But I'm also very excited about your mom. I mean, this is a Ghana woman in the 70s who had a graphic design degree. Yeah. And that's a side of, again, the Ghana heritage that we don't talk about. Yeah. And your mom is Ghana. Yes. She wasn't of Lebanese descent. No. Okay. So now let's talk about what it was like growing up with a Lebanese father and a Ghana mother, or a Lebanese father turned Ghana.
Very interesting. Very interesting and very. You realize that people are always, we are similar, even though you may come from different places, but there's always a meeting point somewhere. And there's a reason why Lebanese people love Ghana. And I'm sure you realize that there's a lot of Lebanese people here in Ghana. Oh, yes. And I think sometimes the mannerisms, and I always used to say that if in the Middle East you would classify tribes, Lebanon would be where the Ghanas are from.
Interesting.
Like, even, excuse me to say, when they're insulting each other. So there was a lot of similarity and a lot of, I think, this desire to make it cohesive, So my mom learned how to cook Lebanese food, but I have to say that the Lebanese community is not necessarily always accepting of other cultures. When it comes to marriage especially, they do not like a Lebanese person to go and marry somebody from a different background. So it was difficult for us, because for them maybe at the beginning it was difficult for them as a union, then we came in and then we had to also go through something. And that's about rejection from the Lebanese community, and my dad considered himself a rebel, so for him it was like, yeah, let them say.
So is it that the Lebanese community likes to, I don't know, make sure that the lineage is preserved in some way?
Yes, very much so. Lineage, language, culture, you know, they want to keep things a certain way. And so when it comes to marriage, they are very reserved about other, but now it's changing. You know, that the modern day Lebanese person thinks a little differently than, I'd say, 30 years, 40 years ago. So the generations are, you know, opening up to more collaboration, but before it wasn't that way.